Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. I've just finished watching WWE Network's own Legends House, episode 6, entitled LARPing. This was an awesome episode. This was about getting the superstars or the legends out of their elements and being out there doing something funny that would be captured on this television show for us to watch and enjoy. I watched this show a little bit weird. We went to the river today. We got a little bit of sun. Came home and I had to watch the rerun of the last episode before this episode started. I fell asleep during the rerun. I woke up. I thought I was watching the show from sort of the beginning. I was watching the show almost at the end. So I watched this show from about halfway to the end and then had to start the show back over and finish from that way. Thank God for the on-demand section on there for you. But this was an interesting, very sort of weird show. At the very beginning of the show, these guys come into the house. They're all dressed up in their LARPing outfits, looking like they're prepared for battle. Everybody sees them coming and gets ready. And as they come into the house, they have to sort of explain what they're going to be doing, and they send these guys out into town to go to a costume shop for everybody to pick out their costumes. Some of these guys were able to sort of pick up on what was going down. Hillbilly Jim dressed up as sort of like a knight at the round table. He was wearing like the Scott Steiner sort of, steel suit that you couldn't like pierce your sword through, and he had like the sort of cloth, and he had a big old sort of shield. Tony Atlas dressed up pretty much like he was the gladiator. Roddy Piper dressed up like he was Braveheart himself going into battle. Pat Patterson dressed up like a pimp. That was basically the only way I could really describe what he was dressed up as. Jimmy Hart dressed up as Elvis. The Fink, I think that he should have just dressed up like he did at WrestleMania 9. But he dressed up pretty much as William Shakespeare. Mean Gene Okerlund was wearing. I'm not sure what that really was, but he looked pretty much like he was supposed to be some old woman or something like that. Everybody had their, certain, fighting power or special power that went down. Basically, they walked into battle, and they were shown Ashley had been kidnapped, and I guess he was a king, was holding her against her will. And, they showed up to fight. And as they were about to fight, a whole army showed up to take on these 8 superstars, or these legends. I keep on forgetting what to call these guys. From Legends House. It was 8 on about 40. Roddy Piper, basically put it best. He didn't come here to lose, and he was going to be going down into battle. He had this real big, huge sword that he was swinging around. Hacksaw Jim Duggan had a 2x4. This was fun. I mean, definitely, if you guys enjoyed the movie Role Models with Stifler, Sean William Scott, and Paul Rudd, you're definitely going to enjoy this episode, because it was definitely the guys out of their elements. Everybody went into battle. Jimmy Hart, like the little girl he is, ran and hid in a big pile of wood to start this, because I think he just didn't want to be the first guy to die. He's going to put this over as saying that he had special powers and that he needed to hide because he was one of the most important people that could run around and stop people in their tracks by saying the word fear, setting them up. Ended up being Mean Gene Okerlund as the wizard. He was a special pretty much guy, because as soon as they were down, losing a limb or something like that, he was able to come back up and then revive them. Tony Atlas was crowned king of this event for being the guy who ran up and saved the princess at the end. Roddy Piper seemed like he had done much of the work, but everybody did their fair share except for Jimmy Hart. I didn't really see Pat Patterson doing a whole bunch out there, but he was swinging a sword around. You know what I'm talking about. From there, basically they were rewarded for their well-doing and their LARPing. They go into town. It looked like they went into somewhere to like Beverly Hills or something like that. They went and got a full-on salon. Everybody was going to get a full-on manicure and pedicure, massage. The only guy that can get bent out of shape is Tony Atlas. Tony Atlas was complaining about his back and his butt and his legs. He wanted this massage bad, and he, moaned and groaned about the whole time. Every time they go and do something, and they put him in these, they mix the groups around. They put him in different duos. This time it was Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Tony Atlas. And the second I saw that these guys were together, and Tony was running his mouth and he was complaining about stuff, I was like, it's about to go down. This is it. This is going to be good. We're finally going to get that battle from last week. Where in Vegas, these guys wanted to throw down. Ended up not happening. Over in the other groups, Roddy Piper and Pat Patterson were getting facials together, and every joke under the world you can think of. Roddy Piper was sick of Pat Patterson, talking about how much cream he could get on his face, and they were using the jokes the way you think you're using them. Night was capped off by Tony Atlas going back to the house, making everybody an awesome dinner. He sort of complained that, nobody wanted to eat his chitlins and his pig's feet or anything like that, but, the second they get back tonight, everybody's, counting on him to make a big Sunday dinner, which he did. He made meatloaf and potatoes. I can't remember. There had to have been some sort of a broccoli. Oh, no. It was green beans. And because I kept on waiting for the killer to kick in, because they polished off that meatloaf. Everybody besides Jimmy Hart was raving about how good it was, and I kept on thinking in meatloaf, you use a lot of different kind of beefs and porks and stuff like that. You need something to sort of season up and put some fat into those green beans, and it gives good flavor. I kept on waiting for the killer to say that he made all this with the food that he bought the other day that nobody wanted to eat. His chitlins and everything like that, and it never really came out. I don't know if that's what it was, or if he really did use, just ground beef and regular ground pork from the store. But it would have made for a killer bit of story there for you. But this was an awesome episode. Can't wait for episode 7. Hopefully you guys have the WWE Network. There's a lot of talk about what's going down these days with the network not reaching its expectations, and Vince McMahon losing a lot of his money built up in the company and his stock and everything like that. And I don't know. I think that the WWE Network is going to be something that's here for a long time to come. But there's some people out there who really want to kill off the network. So we'll see where we go from there. But this is one of the flagship shows. A lot of people were watching this. It seemed like expectations dropped off a little bit on this show. Not many people watched it last week. It wasn't the number 1 ranked show like it had been in the past. But they did have some stiff competition out there. Shawn Michaels is going to join the cast next week. Everybody's going to go fishing. Everybody's going to want to kill Jimmy Hart. So we'll see where we go from there. Shawn Michaels, Heartbreak Kid. Going to be on there next week. Peace out.